You are entering E&C's Pod of Awesomeness.
It's a bird. This is the second time through doing this. I have no idea what I said the first time. We had magic. We had lightning in the bottle. Yeah. And we don't have Mega Matt this week, so I'm blaming Chris. It's all his fault.
You know what? We need to get ZipRecruiter on the job.
That's what we need to do. I think I was talking to you about it. You're being excited, being a bird, feathers flying all over, like you're in your nest. You're feeding Isla regurgitated food out of your beak. It's the fallout of SummerSlam week. You're all fired up. You're ready to go, and you have a sex swing in your house.
No, that's not what I said. I said I had a giant like bird swing that you'd see in a cage. I got rid of my couch. It's also good for core strength. So, you perch up on there with your feet, and you crouch down and you swing back and forth and watch TV and, drop seed pieces on the ground. And then the maid that I pay comes and she cleans it up. It's all good.
Is that still in Birdland, USA?
Yeah.
Because you bought your entire neighborhood, right?
I did. I changed it to a giant bird sanctuary. So it's nice here. Yeah, no predators, so we don't have to worry about that. We can just live here and not have to worry about the outside world.
Well, technically, wouldn't Felix be a predator?
No, he's a bird-loving cat.
Plus, you got nervous there.
Well, plus he's a little
there. I could hear it.
Well, here's the thing: he's a little bit blind, and he's night blind. So cats do most of their predatorial work after dark. They're nocturnal, so that kind of hinders his senses a little bit. So you also got a lesson here today. So
yeah, but you
enjoyed it.
You're a bird with sleep apnea, though, aren't you? So how's that work?
I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, I forgot to tell you. I forgot to tell you a couple weeks ago, and I don't know how this slipped my mind. When I was up in Toronto, the T-Dot is, I guess, are they calling it? It was T-Dot like right after we left, and it's now the 6.
I don't get it. That's just lazy, man. That's okay. So you can only say one number out of the area code. It's still TO to me.
Yeah,
it's still it's always gonna be. It's Toronto. It's Toronto.
The Big Smoke. That's a better name for it.
Well, I think it was the Big Smoke for us because we're in Orangeville.
Right. Anyways, when I was up there filming that TV show Murdoch Mysteries, because I'm a huge television star, when I went home to visit my parents, and they had recorded the Sweet Daddy Siki documentary, and I watched it. I forgot to tell you.
How was it?
It was awesome. It was very, very good. His life is obviously an amazing story. Like you don't even need to be a wrestling fan to enjoy it. And just the way that he grew up, how he got into the business, even everything that he had to go through when he did break in. There were so many trials that he went through. He had to persevere and kind of break through. And I don't want to ruin it for you, but I mean it's just how strong-willed he was, and what a good guy he was, and what a great performer he was. And it's just he broke down barriers for a lot of people. And it's important, I think, that people, especially wrestling fans, would see this documentary. It's really amazing.
Well, Birdman, I'm glad you mentioned it again, because I've still been trying to find it. And it is important. I don't know if everyone understands exactly what he did as a black man in the industry throughout the times that he was breaking down those walls and those barriers. So I can't wait to see it. And Siki is still the man, always will be. Trained us along with Ron, and a blonde pompadour. What else needs to be said? But good point though. You don't have to be a wrestling fan to appreciate his story, because his story is
it's a life story. It's not
it's a commentary
wrestling.
on the times too.
Right.
It's a commentary on what the world was going throughout the 60s and the 70s, and all of the different things that were happening in terms of changes in the world.
Right.
And he was there plugging away, doing his thing, and breaking down those walls within the wrestling industry. So
it's really, really interesting. And there's one part, and I feel like I need to defend myself here. He talks about training us, and then he looks at the camera and he says, "Christian, by the way, you still owe me money for training."
And,
really? Yeah. Which my parents got a big kick out of. I laugh for a minute, and then I'm like, hold on a second here. With all due respect to...
Oh, we got the fake laugh, too. Ha ha. Ha ha. As long as I get a fake laugh, that's when I know you're super hot. Okay, go on.
I'm not hot. With all due respect to Siki, because, he's a great guy. And any dealings I've ever had with him, anytime I've ever talked to him, he's a sweetheart of a man, great person. But he was gone from the gym when I trained there. And Ron Hutchison trained me. And when I went in for my training, Ron is who I dealt with and who I paid. And I don't know whether because Siki trained Ron that somehow constitutes maybe I also owe him. And if that's the case, I want to clear it up. And
send him a damn money order, you cheap bastard. You got your own birdland down there, your own compound. You can afford to shoot Siki a couple bucks. So you can get an oil change on his purple hearse. Come on.
Oh man. Maybe I'll go sing some.
That's awesome. That makes me want to see it that much more now. Right?
I want to. Maybe I'll just go sing some karaoke with him.
Karaoke.
So, but I mean, even beyond his wrestling, it really goes into his love for music and country music, and what a great singer and performer he was, and it shows him clips of him doing live performances and stuff like that. And he's a really talented artist all around. And it's just like I said, it's a very, very interesting story, and it's not just a wrestling story. It's about life, and it was very strong, very strong.
Well, it'll be interested to see it, and also for anybody who doesn't know, Siki is the precursor to Rocky Johnson, and he influenced Rocky Johnson, and then Rocky Johnson. Well, we know who he influenced, so a lot of it starts with Siki, man, and Bobo Brazil and guys like that. But yeah, so I'll look forward to seeing that. I'm glad you mentioned it again there, Bird. Yeah. That's a good little follow-up a few weeks later. Maybe somebody can send us a link as to where we can actually watch it outside of Canada and get it to the
I would
hosters
actually like
so they can see it too.
Somehow get a copy of it just so I have it.
Yeah.
So, but it's one of those things that, should be on a Netflix or something to that effect where people can see this, because it's really, really, really good.
Hey, and you know what I'm very thankful for? That it was done while he's still with us.
Yeah.
And not after the fact. It's like he deserves that. So it's very cool.
Yeah. It also goes into I said I don't want to ruin it for you, but what a great, what a family man he was and stuff like that too. So it's if you get a chance to see it, do yourself a favor and see it. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, I was going to anyway, but thanks for that very.
I was saying to the listeners,
hurtful way of saying. Oh, okay.
No, not specifically to you.
I thought you were coming at me, man.
No, I'm not coming at you.
Don't come at me, bro. I'm on my yerba mate.
Hey, I'm trying to let the hosers know if they get a chance to view this, view it.
Yeah, brother.
That's all I'm saying.
How do you think Tommy's doing? We should probably check in with Tommy at some point. Tobby.
I actually talked to Tobby today.
You did?
I talked to him for a while. He answers the phone. Oh. What do you want? You only call me when you want something. Tommy. Yeah. So
maybe next week we'll check in with old Tommy. In the meantime, Bird, as I was saying at the beginning, with your wings flapping and your feathers flying everywhere and your bird pooping everywhere, SummerSlam, post SummerSlam Fallout week. It was an interesting pay-per-view.
Yeah. Man, what was your take on it?
All right. It's not as bad as that sounded. So I'm Professor Positive, so I'm going to start with the positives. And if they ever leave, they being the WWE, leave the Usos against the New Day, and more microscopic than that, if they leave the Usos versus the New Day off, or more microscopically leave the Usos off a pay-per-view, they're shooting themselves in the foot. Mm-hmm. Because those guys, and the New Day too, don't get me wrong, are on fire right now. Yeah. I am loving what the Usos are doing, and to me, they're a recurring theme throughout this whole thing. If you see their matches, they have these long, drawn-out, false finishes all over the place, and they aren't doing anything fancy. If anything fancy is happening, it's to them, and they barely kick out. They're just really in a perfect pocket right now, and to put that on the pre-show, not only they deserve to be on the main show, but everybody does, but they really are cooking, firing on all cylinders. It was quite possibly my favorite match of the whole thing, and it wasn't on the main show.
No, it was an amazing match. It really was. And sometimes too, when that happens, even though it's on the network, it's the pre-show, it's the pay-per-view, but it's not. It's really weird, right? It's kind of on the pay-per-view, but it's kind of not. But speaking from experience, guys get motivated by that. We're the tag team champions. This is a tag team championship match. It's important, and we should be on the pay-per-view. And they go out there and make a statement. And then it's really hard for the first match of the pay-per-view to follow something like that.
Yeah, and, I mean, good luck. Good luck after that.
So because then
there's another challenge, but.
Well, there's a gap in between too, right? And then they do the intros and the pyro and not pyro anymore, but the start of the show and the whole deal and the video packages and all these sorts of things. But, it just makes it very hard to follow that.
Yeah. I thought their series has been great, but I'm really loving everything the Usos are doing right now. They found this really cool, this character that it's just working, and like I said, because the character is pretty cool, they're keeping the wrestling simple, which is great.
Right. Well, and thing is too, the transition they've made from being baby faces to heels, right? It's not always an easy thing to do, especially when you're in that groove, and they were in a groove as baby faces. They had their baby face act down from the entrance to the way they structured a match, to the way they performed their match, to everything about them, their mannerisms, and
their gear, everything.
Yeah, and there's a slight adjustment there, and like there wasn't a huge heel turn, if my memory serves me correctly. So it was a little bit of an uphill battle to get full blown heel kind of status, but they kept at it, they embraced it and owned it, and then when that happens, good things come about from it.
Well, and you mentioned heels, and therein is my problem with most of the pay-per-view. The matches are great. Athletically, they're great, and, not all the matches are great, but it's good stuff. Everybody's working hard, but there's no heels. And that, to me, I know the industry changes, and if you look at New Japan, there's no real heels. I get it, but that's New Japan, and they can do that, and it works over there. But I'm watching, and it's basically working to get reactions for big moves. And I will say the difference in that was Sheamus and Cesaro against Rollins and Ambrose. And you hear the reactions, and it's because Cesaro and Sheamus were working like rugged heels.
Right.
Kick-ass heels that it was going to take a lot to beat. And the baby faces in peril fight from underneath, and there's a reason that still works. And it does. And that to me was just one of the things in watching it. I was like, there's no real heels. Like if I'm watching it, I wouldn't know who the heel was, because a lot of the heels went over straight, making people tap out. I mean, I get it, that needs to happen sometimes, but this was really evident in this show. It just was one of the shows where if I had never watched, I wouldn't necessarily know if there was a good guy or a bad guy, or would even necessarily care either, which is the most dangerous thing.
Right. And it's, like you said, with the reactions, sometimes it's just easier to get the holy shit or this is awesome than, when so-and-so sucks or let's go so-and-so, you know what I mean? It's sometimes it takes a little bit longer to build to those reactions, but those are more, like you said, if you're getting booed as a heel and you're working to get that reaction, sometimes you have to work a little bit harder, you dig a little deeper, get a little more vicious, cheat a little bit, whatever it is. But those are, you genuinely want people to see you lose, rather than just chant something that they're kind of conditioned to chant when they see something
conditioned
big.
To do now.
Because that's what it is. It's really just, people. I mean, and I'm not going to say that, but sometimes I think might get in performers' heads that if they hear this is awesome or holy shit, oh my god, they're making so much noise, it means I'm over. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It just means that when they see something big, they're conditioned to say holy shit or this is awesome, much like the ECW chant years ago. It becomes a conditioning thing, and that doesn't necessarily equate to you being over, my opinion.
Yeah, exactly, because I've seen a lot of train wrecks get this is awesome chants. I'm like, well, they're just saying that because that's what they know to say now. It's really not. I mean, I guess it's subjective if you guys think it is great.
Right.
But
that doesn't mean there's necessarily a personal connection to the character that you're portraying on television, right?
Exactly.
Or to the live audience.
And the one that I really felt like that was there was the Rollins, Ambrose, Cesaro, Sheamus match. I thought it was really well done. I thought it was a great. So basically, what I'm saying so far, the tag matches were my favorite. Mm-hmm. And I also. So, what's your take on this beach ball fiasco? Give me the bird's take.
I thought it was pretty funny that Sheamus or that Cesaro went out and grabbed it and popped it. I thought that was like the best move he could have done because he got heat for it. And it was great because people were having fun with it. But people sometimes, as a performer too, you see that it's almost like kind of like even if a scrum or something breaks out in the crowd, it diverts people's attention, right? It's and so you know what, go out there and just put an end to it and get a boo from the crowd, and that's what he did. Kudos to him for figuring that out and
I loved it. Yeah, the chutzpah and also the quickness to get out there and get that thing too. He was moving. He was on the hop. Yeah. People don't realize that he's a big dude. He's like 6'4", 230, 240, whatever he is. But you could tell he was hot, and I would have been too. No, seriously, good for you, man. Good for you. This stupid beach ball. It was at WrestleMania 6. I remember the wave got going, and even at that point, in my watching, and I knew I wanted to be a wrestler, all these things. I think it was 14. And I didn't do it because I was like, man, DiBiase and Jake are in there busting their ass. Part of me knew that at that point that this was a good match going on. And these guys are, sacrificing in there. And I don't know, there was a part of me that just knew that in my mind, it wasn't cool. I don't know. So that's my take on the beach ball. Fuck the beach ball.
What else? Yeah, we spent too much time on the beach ball. I'm not going to put it over anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, because now they're just going to show up with 48 of them in there, and it's just going to be
what else stood out to you on the show? What'd you think of the Demon and Finn Balor?
I think that character makes him special, which is cool, and I think it's good to break it out for the SummerSlams and WrestleManias.
Right.
But I would save it for that.
Yeah, I agree. And if like I said, I'm a huge Finn Balor fan, and we've talked about this in previous. I even said that if I'd like to see anybody get a nice long run with the title, it would be him. He's got a connection with the crowd. He gets a reaction whether he's doing the demon thing or he's coming out and popping the collar on his black leather jacket. To me, it's like he brings the demon out when he needs to take it to a different level, right? And so when he's in the ring, I would just like to see him dirty it up a little bit. Because sometimes in the ring, he's still Finn Balor, even though he's got the makeup on. He does a couple different mannerisms. But if he really got a little more gritty, a little more dirty with it, broke out a couple different things that you don't see Finn Balor do, but you only see the demon do, that would be really cool, I think.
Well, that was the one thing I was going to mention. So you kind of took the words right out of my mouth. Is I can tell it's still the same guy wrestling. Now, I'm not saying switch absolutely everything up. I mean, because that would be difficult. Right. But there does have to be some type of difference in there, whether it's like a fifth gear, a meanness, a viciousness, and not just in facial and mannerisms. Yeah. Like the entrance is great, and the mannerisms coming to the ring are great, and everything. It just there needs to be some ugly to go along with it, One of the things, like with a guy like him, with a guy like Jeff or Dean Malenko or Ray, and because they're so athletic, it can look almost effortless at times.
Easy, yeah.
Yeah. So you almost have to make it look like it isn't, which has got to be a difficult thing to do. See, I wasn't athletic, so it was easy for me. Yeah. So, and then we had, I was very happy for Natty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
Very happy for Natty to see her 7 years after initially winning the championship. Yeah. I called her a pugnacious panda bear because we always name ourselves animals. Yeah. But she kept plugging away and never, took no for an answer and she just stayed the course, worked hard, and 7 years after the fact, which might be the longest gap between title wins, I don't know for sure, but that's a long one. So to have that patience and that stick-to-itiveness to continue to plug away, I applaud that. That was one of those matches, where if I didn't know, I wouldn't necessarily know who the babyface and heel was, and here's why. And I like Naomi. I think she's super athletic, but I can never get let in. You know, she doesn't sell with her face up or with her eyes open, and it's hard to get with someone who's that athletic and then doesn't give you a chance to get in. You want to know when I finally felt sorry for her and was like, okay, all right, that's what she needs to do, was at the end after she lost. Yeah. And she opened her eyes, her head was up, and she was crying. And I'm not saying you got to cry when you sell all the time. Right. But that was the first time I was like, oh, okay, that's what she needs to do. She needs to have those eyes open and look and make that connection, because people want to connect to her.
Right. They do. And there is a connection. But, I mean, they want to you have to, in a sense, make people feel what you're feeling, right? And when you say look up. And
the connection has to be after the cool entrance. Mm-hmm. So there has to be those moments. There's a reason why we're all taught, even when we have a hold on, a headlock on, an arm, keep your head up. Mm-hmm. Keep your head up, because if your head's down, then you've just lost that connection to them. And that's what I feel is with her. I just like to push her up by the chin if I were working her and say, okay, look at him. Just look at him. Mm-hmm. Let him in. And that's all she needs to do. And she'll take it, to the next level, because athletically she's got all of those gifts.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's just those little fine-tuned things. So that was the thing in watching.
And here's the thing too, and you never stop learning, no matter how long you've been in the business, right? Every time you go out there, you should learn something, and she'll get it. She's really talented. She'll figure that out and be better for it.
Yep. So congratulations, Natty. Yeah, little wombat.
You wascally little wombat.
Yeah. Little groundhog. You, I don't know. I can't think of any more small animals. Yeah. Little chipmunk. Yeah. So that was. I know I'm forgetting stuff. I know there was other stuff on the show.
AJ
got anything?
Owens. There was AJ Owens with Shane as the special ref.
Personally, I like that, because I like that it was completely different than everything else because of the special ref stipulation and everything. And because otherwise it can just be, like I said, all the same thing after a while. That made it different. That gave it a different kind of feel to it. And I also like that, they both got in his face. It wasn't just, because AJ and him have a history. So it wasn't just Owens getting in his face, and I really like the way Owens has played it, because he does a lot of great stuff and everything, but that, his reactions to everything made him a heel, and it was funny too. You fall off of buildings, but that's keeping you down. You just went down in a helicopter last month, but AJ smacking heads with you kept you down. Good stuff.
There's always got to be a little.
And I'm pretty sure he used I think he used an Edge-O-Matic in there. So maybe listen to the podcast last week.
Yeah, maybe
about using Moose. So if he did use it as a tip of the hat, then thank you. Sorry,
I thought the use of Shane as the ref was good. I thought that they had a couple false finishes where it's like, okay, here's the finish, and it wasn't, and it was good. I thought it was entertaining. I thought it was well done. I think it was as good as it could have been with that stipulation. And I think the thing I liked the best about the whole thing was Shane's ref shirt. It was like his baseball shirt, but it was a ref shirt. It was pretty great.
And totally rocking the schmedium too. Yeah. By the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The TV large.
But you never know sometimes with the special guest ref stip, because people are paying attention to the ref, and usually one thing that we have kind of touched on with the pod before, but the job of the ref is to be unseen,
right?
And that's when it's done really well. Well, the object of this is the complete opposite of that.
How great would it have been if Shane was out there in Shawn Michaels short shorts?
Here's what happened right there is I pictured it, and hence the strange gap. Because I was a little dumbfounded and tongue tied on that, and I pictured high techs as well.
That'd have been great.
I don't know if great would be the right word.
And then as soon as he's about to go out, you'd mock him. You'd come out of nowhere and just give him a little mock. Throw him off his game. That'd have been great.
Made it all worth it. What'd you think of the main event?
I thought the main event was good. I mean, I thought it's sometimes hard to do those 4-ways when there's a lot of moving parts. I think everybody in there played their part well. I thought the finish was good. I thought it was surprising. I think a lot of people thought Brock was going to lose because of all the rumors with the UFC stuff. So if I'm nitpicking the match, the only thing that I would have done is I thought that was a great visual when Strowman power slammed Lesnar through the table, and then he threw the table on him. I would have just left him underneath the table until he came back, because they've done the and I don't know if I'd ever want to see a guy like Brock on a stretcher, and it's
good point.
He left and then he came back, and we've seen that done before. But if he was under that rubble the whole time and just he just pushed out from underneath that table and then came back kind of out of the ashes that way, might add a little bit more. Like I said, if I'm nitpicking the match, that would have been my thing.
I guess the thinking on that is him lying under a table really going to stop Brock? Whereas if he's taken out and with the rumors of UFC, though, if he's gone, let's forget about him. Yeah. And keep rolling. I don't know. That's the flip side of the coin, because Birdman, there's always two sides to the coin.
Right. But look at how big that table is. It's not like it's like just a regular table. It's this giant announce table that like engulfs a person. You can't even see them under there,
But Brock could eat that table.
Yeah, I know, but if you threw that on him, like a bunch of chairs and stuff, and he was just buried under there, I don't know, it might have been different. Just like I said, it's hard to do different things, right? And
true.
In the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, we saw Nakamura make his Valiant come back into the match, kind of the same thing. Just would have been a little different.
Good point, Bird. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just throwing the flip at you.
I'm not disagreeing either. I'm just saying, like, if I was like nitpicking, it might have been a good idea. I thought the match was great, and I thought the finish was great.
And I thought Strowman, as it was designed to do, obviously setting up where the next pay-per-view is, which I believe is No Mercy, with Strowman and Lesnar in the main event. I thought it did a great job showing Strowman, because, and as I said, I know it was designed to do that, but it's the best I've seen him look. I was like, okay, because again, as we've talked about, when I first saw him, I was like, oh man, yikes. I just didn't know he was going to get where he is. Yeah. And it's a credit to him that he has, and also the office to have faith and not give up either.
Right.
But big dude, moves well, seems to have he's picking up the nuances, so it's good.
And big guys with the abilities he has are few and far between, and they don't come along every single day. So you have to, he's a specimen, he's a freak, and he could be a guy, and then we talked about it like Joe as well. But even the sheer size of Braun, he's bigger than Brock. So it puts him in peril a little bit as well, and that's something that doesn't happen every day.
It's very rare that a guy with that kind of physicality can move the way he does. And I'll say this now, if he can stay healthy, he could have the type of longevity there that Taker had. Because a big guy that can move and all of these things, it can be rare. Now, I'm not saying anybody's going to ever, eclipse Taker's career or anything like that, or even, make that comparison. It's hard. But I just mean in terms of like a Kane, an Undertaker, and guys that big that seem to get it and can also move. And the key is really just at that size staying healthy, which can be hard.
And it's tying it all in. It has the physical gifts, the size, being able to move, and then sometimes it's the mental, right? Sometimes you guys have those, but they can't tie in the mental, and he seems like he's understanding what he's doing, and that's a good thing. Yeah.
Other title match, Nakamura against Jinder. Mm-hmm. Now, I see everybody whining. It's just like if you're whining and complaining about it, guess what? It's working. He has heat. Yeah. The things came out, and it was the first time that night where I heard a legitimate, hearty boo. Mm-hmm. And that's the idea. Yeah. And people say, well, turn the channel heat. But bull. Because if you're there booing, then that means you're there and you've paid. And if you heard it on the pay-per-view, that means you're watching the pay-per-view. So it's not turn the channel heat.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And
he's got heat. He's got heat. Nobody else has heat. He's got heat.
Right. And the thing is, too, Nakamura is going to be just fine whether he lost this match or not. He has that Jeff Hardy kind of Rob Van Dam connection with the crowd where, even like we talked about before, he doesn't even need to talk. He just has that aura about him, the way that the kind of swagger, it's hard to pinpoint what he has, but he has it, and people dig it. So, and this is just like the first kind of line in the chat, in the paragraph, so to speak, right? And there's going to be many paragraphs to go. So I think just let it play out. And Jinder, he's like you said, we talked about before, it's hard for guys that aren't being heels, and he's a heel, and that, like you said, he got heat, he has heat. So I don't see the negative in that at all.
And I think too, it is a work in progress in terms of the work, and he's getting there. It's going to come with being in there with top level folks, and the fact that it's not just being yanked out from under him until he's there, a la like we just talked about with Strowman. You got to do that at some point. You have to establish new players,
right? And working a main event style is not easy. At times, and sometimes it takes guys a little bit of time to figure it out, but working with guys that have consistently been in main events, that helps. And they said you don't really know if a guy can be a main eventer until you give him a legit shot, and that to do that you have to give him a sustained amount of time and amount of matches and the spotlight to do so.
And I would argue, and this may be a controversial comment, that Nakamura is struggling with that, because I've seen him in New Japan, and I've seen him in NXT, and I'm not seeing the same guy yet. And I think he'll get there, but it's a transition, and it just shows that NXT is indeed different than the WWE product. They're two different things, and he's gonna get there. But I just, there's something different. There's something not quite connecting with me yet anyway, and he's got huge support and things like that. I just mean in the matches, there's something, I think he's still trying to figure it out. It's why the guys like Ray and AJ, but even AJ, if you go back and watch his stuff with Jericho, he was trying to figure it out initially too.
Yeah, it takes a little bit.
It makes sense.
There's a language barrier there too, right?
Beast, yeah, it just speaks to what a different beast that stage is, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, but the good or really good or great ones all figured out, and he will, because we saw what he did in New Japan, and he's going to be a huge top star, top draw in WWE, and just a little and it's not even a big thing, just a couple little tweaks, and he'll be good to go.
Hey, and that's a beautiful segue, completely by accident, Bert, because that's the way my mind works, to our guest today. Because he is a guy who is now main eventing for New Japan.
Right.
He is a guy who has figured out the Japanese style and how to present that style the way Nakamura used to, and could have the same transitions if he ever comes to the WWE one day. Our guest today is Kenny Omega.
Right, yeah. Looking forward to talking to Kenny. He I don't think I've ever met him before.
Neither of us have. How crazy is that?
It's crazy, yeah. And he's a Canadian guy, arguably the hottest performer, not just in Japan, but in the wrestling world at this point in time. Always a lot of buzz around him, and looking forward to talking to him. Yeah,
it just it's interesting to see the difference in styles between New Japan, between WWE, and just I think that speaks to how well AJ quickly figured it out. But as I said, if you watch his stuff with Jericho, and maybe because he's more comfortable as a heel, I don't know, but you could see it was like it was a work in progress. But when it clicked, man, it was that stuff against Roman and then John, and then that's it. He was off in the stratosphere and off to the races. And as we talked about, that's what the truly special ones do. And I'm gonna say that I think Kenny is that special, because I've been watching his stuff, and I really went back and watched it all since my get.
Yeah, this is your get this week. It's about time you got one.
I figured it was time to get back in the game. I gave you a chance.
Back in the
over.
Game.
My get game is going to be huge, and Jay, it just makes me want to take a rowing paddle, a wooden rolling paddle with just a couple of nails sticking out, rusty ones, of course, because I want you to get tetanus. And I want to smack you in the face with it. And then as you're reeling from that and trying to hold in your gushing bloody nose, then I want to like paddle you in the ass, because you always say you want to smack my ass. So I just want to paddle you in the ass with the nail. That's really all where I'm at right now. I don't want to get too violent with it. I don't want to take it where I usually do, where I end up pissing on you or something like that after dousing you in gasoline and, all of those things. I don't want to do that yet. I'm in a good mood, Bird.
Let me talk. After the 24 seconds it would take me to recover from that, what I'd
24?
Like to do, yeah, 24 seconds. I would like to duct tape you to a chair and staple your eyelids open. Then I'd take a piece of paper and slash a big paper cut across both your eyeballs. Then I'd pour lemon juice into your eyes. All this while making you listen to Despacito.
Despacito?
I don't even know what Despacito is, but this was an email from a fan.
You had me until Despacito. I was like, hey, he's on a roll. What?
Well, this isn't even mine, but this is from a fan named David Miller, who emailed this to the show.
Okay.
And he said, sincerely, Dave Miller, a proud and somewhat off-kilter Hamiltonian. P.S. I love the show, guys. Thanks for everything you've given and continue to give us. And he said, hey, Jay, due to those big bug eyes of Adams, I would be honored if you'd consider the following. And then he wrote that message. So, Dave Miller, there you go.
He came up with that.
Yep.
I'd like to put his looks under a microscope.
Oh, you're a little hurt over the bug eye comment, huh?
No, I look like a I got a Viking helmet for a head. There's a reason I got hired for that show. But by the same token, I'm retired and I got a hot wife. So there, Dave Miller.
Yeah. Up yours, Dave.
Yeah.
So we should,
he was on your side.
I can't turn my back on you.
More loyalty to me than Dave Miller from Hamilton. I appreciate that.
The Dave Miller Band.
Oh, come on.
Wait, it's Steve Miller.
Yes. You didn't really think it was the Dave Miller Band, did you?
For a second I did. You
did. You did, because the IV part.
Yeah. So.
What was that? What song was that?
That ain't... Oh, that wasn't even Dave Miller.
Are you singing Dave Matthews?
No, it was... I'm trying to think how it goes.
What the fuck are you doing?
That ain't working. That's the way
that's Dire Straits.
Yeah, Dire Straits.
That's Mark Knopfler playing his Fender Strat, brother.
That ain't
with
working.
Sting on the chorus.
That's the way you do it.
So you went from Dave Miller to Steve Miller.
Yeah.
To, I think, Dave Matthews at one point, to now Dire Straits.
I didn't do any Dave Matthews.
Okay. So maybe you did Despacito.
Yeah, Despacito. I'm gonna learn the lyrics and sing some Despacito next week.
All right. You do that. Speaking of music, I just watched a quick little documentary by Colin Hanks, Eagles of Death Metal, about everything that went down in France. Completely off topic, but if we're going to talk a little bit about music...
Oh, wait, speaking of music, did you see the Foo Fighters Rick roll their concert?
No.
You have to YouTube it. They brought Rick Astley out, and he sang Never Gonna Let Me Give You Up, Never Gonna Let You Down, but heavy to their music. It was awesome. He Rick rolled the crowd. It was amazing.
Oh, well, they got a new single out from the album. They got Concrete and Gold is coming out September 15th. I'm going to plug them because they're one of my bands and they're my buddies. Yeah. So September 15th, Foo Fighters, Concrete and Gold. But what was that?
That was a super Here We Go.
Whoa. I was going to say The Sky is a Neighborhood is the new single, but whatever. Okay. You inhale like you're a balloon, whatever the fuck. And spit it out.
All right. You know what?
We're swearing a lot today, Bird. I don't know what's going on.
We're not swearing. I'm not using bad swear words, but I think it's enough. Like there's good swear words. But we should probably get to Kenny.
You think it's time to get to Kenny?
I think it is.
The cleaner. MeUndies are the best underwear on the planet. Now, that's a big boast. But you need proof? Go to their site. Look at the pictures of people in their underwear. That's comfort. That's hugging your boys. Then order a pair and feel for yourself because it's National Underwear Month.
That's right. Just don't look at the pictures of Edge in his undies because he's got that dad bod going on. But once you feel me undies and feel them down there, you're going to want to wear them all the time because they're the world's most comfortable underwear. That's because MeUndies are made from Lensing Micromodal, a sustainable sourced, naturally soft fabric that's proven to be 3 times softer than cotton. Man, I said that really well.
I'm not sure you did, but if you order a pair and if you don't love them, they're free. They've made it really easy for you. There is literally no risk. And for the fellas, MeUndies diamond seamed pouch cradles your jewels and gives your stuff the support it needs without feeling too tight.
Right, and for the ladies, MeUndies features soft black seams that minimize slippage without sacrificing style. And they're super comfy in every cut. Bikini, thong, boy short, or cheeky brief. That's the one Edge likes, cheeky brief on himself.
I could totally see you in some boy shorts, Birdman. It's National Underwear Month. Time to try MeUndies risk-free. Buy them, try them. If the feel-good, silky smooth, downright dreamy embrace of MeUndies isn't for you, they're free.
Now until August 31st, get 20% off your first pair, plus free shipping at MeUndies.com/awesomeness. That's MeUndies.com/awesomeness.
You can always tell a guy who's got style, like me, and you can tell the guy who doesn't, like Christian. He always looks great and seems confident, like he's ready for anything. Unlike Christian. Well, see, that takes a certain skill set not all of us were born with, but now there's an easy way to look better. Even Jay. Let me tell you about Stitch Fix Men.
That's right. And you know what? All those things you said are true. I'm not going to lie. But my personal stylist, Bronwyn, that's right. Ooh. She helped me out. And you can't say that about me anymore because Stitch Fix is the new way to shop for clothes. And it's unbelievably simple. Just go to StitchFix.com and answer some questions about your sizes, what styles you like, and how much you want to spend. Stitch Fix has clothes for every guy and his style. It's not just one type of look.
Your personal stylist then uses your preferences and the other information you enter to select brand new clothes just for you. The items are delivered right to your home. You try them on and only pay for what you keep. Just send anything you don't want back. Shipping is free both ways.
That's right, and that helps out for guys like Edge because he's cheap. Just send anything you want back. Shipping is free both ways. Get your fix on demand or sign up to receive scheduled shipments. Guys of all shapes, sizes, and budgets agree. Defining your new style starts with Stitch Fix.
Try them out today. You got nothing to lose. Get started now at StitchFix.com/awesome. You'll get an extra 25% off when you keep all 5 items in your box. That's StitchFix.com/awesome to get started today. StitchFix.com/awesome.
And if you didn't hear that, StitchFix.com/awesome.
So this is crazy to me, the fact that we have never met.
Yeah, I know.
How's that possible?
I have no idea. And there's a lot of fellows in the business that I not run into that I darn well should have. But it just
darn well. That was very Canadian. I appreciate that.
But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I don't know. It's probably my fault because I'm guessing.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and put the blame on you.
I've been hiding somewhere, so that's probably the reason.
Yeah.
Now, I'm thinking the closest we would have come to meeting is you were down in Deep South, but I never got down to Deep South at that point. But I just remember hearing that there was a dude from Winnipeg there, and I was like, oh, that's great. Cool, because no matter what, we'll have the Winnipeg connection. We'll have the Tony Condello and the Northern Tour connection, no matter what. And then that was just kind of it for a while. And then I started hearing about everything that was going on with you and getting caught up. And so I'm going to blow a lot of smoke up your butt on this but I will say you can't blow smoke up somebody's ass unless there's fire. Because, dude, you are on fire right now.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank you. I'm trying my best. I don't know what to say.
Well, I mean, I'd watched and it's funny too because, like I said, it's been how many years, never crossed paths, never met, and that's the same thing. Kind of crazy to me that's happened. But I'd started hearing buzz, about you a while ago, and hadn't seen you wrestle. Finally, jumped on YouTube and I had watched some. I'd watched some things right after New Year's. I watched the match you had with Okada. There's a lot of hype going into that match. Unbelievable, especially the amount of time you guys put in, and just the structure of the match. Talking about how much that match meant to you, and you wanted to kind of change wrestling, and you wanted to, you had all these ideas of how you wanted it to be, and going in there and telling a story. having the crowd be invested and get lost in what it was that you were doing. And to me, it was a work of art, and I really appreciated it. I became, a fan when I saw that match. It was the first time, like, I'd seen clips of you, but that was like the first kind of full, long, like, what is it, 35, 40-minute match. It was a long match. It was
like 47 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, so long. It was, really get to see you do your thing. Sometimes, it's hard to get a grasp of what a person can do when you're watching them in a 7, 8, 9-minute match. It's to me, those matches, those matches were always really hard to do. I need time to tell my story. I was always better at 20, 25, 30 minutes than I was at like 6 or 7. To me, those were frustrating because I needed that time to let it play out.
Because we had a couple ones in the G1 where they're like, okay, please just wrap this thing up in 6 minutes. And I was like, oh man, how am I even going to have a chance to structure anything that people are going to believe in? Mm-hmm. Because I was so used to kind of having carte blanche and, go ahead, go 35, go 40. That's what I was used to up to that point. But now it's like, okay, bring that same shtick, bring your act, and kind of give us a closed notes version in 6 minutes and have the people care. I was like, maybe I can't do this. Like, maybe I actually suck. You know what I mean? Because I can't even think about how to make people care in 6 minutes anymore because I'm so used to these long matches. I have to build a huge narrative. But, yeah, that's tough. I totally agree.
Well, it's funny. We were just talking about it, and in watching Nakamura right now, I said there's just a little something missing, and he'll get it, and he'll figure it out because that's what all the great ones do. That's what AJ has done, and that's what guys like Rey Mysterio and guys who have had to transition their style, that's what they do. But it's interesting, but I want to go back further because, you're down in Deep South. Was it that? Did you feel handcuffed there? Is that why you just wanted to do your own thing?
I suppose I went into that situation knowing that I was a nobody, and I was, treated like a nobody, but that's what I was. So I didn't have any ill will towards anyone for thinking that, or really not really giving me any credit upon arrival. And I was one of the smaller guys there. I may have been the smallest guy there, so it's not like I'm making an impact with this crazy bodybuilder physique, by showing up through the door. And so I thought, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work hard, show that I deserve to be here, that I want to be here, that, I do have something to offer. And so that's what I did. And I killed all of the, the physical drills. And when it came down to the wrestling, I would work hard to get better. And then at the end of my run, my quote-unquote run at Deep South Wrestling, I was one of the guys they would count on to show everyone how to do the drill properly. Mm-hmm. So I felt like I was making strides as a wrestler and performer, but just nothing kind of converted into, being put on shows, being used in anything as more than an enhancement talent. I would be, in a main event every now and then on their Deep South TV, but, there's never any major angles or anything based around the Kenny Omega character. I never had any mic time or any sort of like interviews or anything. So the writing was kind of on the wall.
What's crazy to me, and you got to fill in the gaps for me here, because I think I saw maybe 1 or 2 matches, from Deep South, and I saw you down there. Mm-hmm. And the next time I see you, it's you're working Finn, and I went, whoa, what happened to this dude? Like, what?
Yeah.
And I mean that in a good way. I'm like, whoa, what transformation happened here? Like, this is a different stratosphere you figured out and found. And then from there, even from there, it's gone even crazier. So we'll talk about that transformation too. But the biggest one that I saw was that huge gap there. So what bell went off? What changed? What did you learn? What tools did you put in your belt that you took going forward? Like, what happened, dude?
Well, when you go to Deep South Wrestling, and I'm not sure if it was like this at OVW, but specifically at Deep South Wrestling, they sort of have this way of breaking everyone down and bringing them back down to zero. They want to build everyone from the ground up again. And so they kind of said, whatever Kenny Omega is or was, he's not that anymore. And we're going to break you down and build you up in the WWE way, and what we want to build is a superstar. So all these moves that you've been doing, forget about them. We're going to give you some new moves. So now they want to call my offense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
we want to work on a character with you rather than have my own creativity and have my own creative input into it. We did have an option to kind of who we wanted to be in like promo class, and I was able to kind of show my personality there. But in terms of what I was able to portray and project in the ring, kind of wasn't up to me. Mm-hmm. So in the end, I sort of felt like a programmed robot, and not like not one of the cool ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I sort of felt like. That definitely didn't feel like myself, and I definitely felt like when it isn't me in the ring, it's hard for me to pretend to be someone else, especially when, even coming into going to developmental, my end goal and the place that I really wanted to be was Japan still.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So I went into developmental wishing that I could have been in Japan, or at least having experienced that first. Because I actually went to a wrestling camp, and it was kind of treated as a competition where the winners of this competition would go and they would be placed into a dojo in Japan, and they would move on from there. But as a surprise, Johnny Ace showed up to the camp as well, and they said, "Okay, we're going to award one guy a WWE contract." He believed in me, gave me the shot, and I thought I'd be crazy to say no, so I gave a chance. And I went into it with the right intentions. Looking back at it now, maybe, I don't know, maybe I wasn't mature enough, or I couldn't, I mean, I still loved wrestling, and it was still such a passion of mine and I mean like the artistic and creative part of wrestling, and actually the act of doing it. I didn't love the business part of it, if that makes sense.
I mean, I get what you're talking about. When you're talking about, people, this is what you're going to do in your match, and they start, putting your match together for you. They're taking creativity away. You're an artist. You're a performer, and you want to have that freedom. Sometimes when there's a producer, an agent, or whatever it is, sometimes they'll just give you little tools here or there to help you. But the majority of the they might give you something to tweak something or give you an idea to spark something, but the overall scope of a match should be up to the performer, I think, because you can't you can't say, okay, you're going to go out and do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and this is how you're going to get over. It doesn't work like that. You have to fail to succeed, in a sense. You have to go out there and throw things against the wall, see if they work or not, and that's how people become better.
That's what I felt like any attempt at kind of showing my own personality was sabotaged in a way a little bit. Like I would have a move, for example, and then I would have somebody tell me exactly why it makes no sense, but really nothing makes sense. So it's so easy, like why would you jump from behind the guy, vault over his shoulders into a face crusher? If he knew you're coming up from behind him, he would turn around and punch you in the face, and it was stuff like that. So I was kind of mind fucked a little bit, and I started to not lose confidence in myself, but kind of just lose confidence in the system.
Well, it's interesting that what you said is so true, and I've said this before. You can't get too caught up in that doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense. If you shoot me into the ropes, I technically shouldn't bounce back.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, if we're really going to nitpick and start pulling threads here, that sweater's going to fall apart really quick if you start doing that. So just enjoy the process. But, I interrupted you. So get back to telling me how you got to where that guy was coming out of this system where you were disillusioned.
Right. So at that point, I had thought, okay, well, all I can do now, if I can't be myself, I'm going to try and get creative, and I'm going to sit down for an evening or two with 3 or 4 what I thought to be, interesting and cool storyline ideas, so that I could be something that could contribute to this product. And it wasn't me. Like, it didn't feel like it was me, but I was just trying to come up with something that maybe wasn't on TV or hadn't been on TV in a while, something original, something they could possibly use, so that I could be used in a more prominent role on not only Deep South TV, but maybe something I could move up to, the main roster. Mm-hmm. So I wrote some stuff out, and I didn't hear anything back. Not even like, oh, that sucks, or it was okay, or whatever, just nothing. And at that point, I thought, wow, there really is no light at the end of this tunnel, and I really don't want to be a guy that's kind of just miserable sitting on the sidelines wishing he could contribute more. And so I thought, I still had this faith and belief in myself. I do believe that there's something more I can do. So I just wanted to show WWE that I could be someone that could make wrestling a lot of money and be a major player as myself. And I understand that at that point in time, what I was at that point, the broken down 170-pound Kenny Omega, was worthless. So what I wanted to do was build myself back up from the bottom up again, actually refine that confidence that I once had, go back to the drawing board and come up with something to make me, and head back at it. And
well, we've talked a lot about on this podcast specifically about not just guys and girls taking a chance on themselves. Sometimes you have to bet on yourself. And you can't just, there's kind of a safety blanket there with being under contract and all these sorts of things. But sometimes to really succeed, you have to bet on yourself. And if you have that belief in yourself, sometimes you just got to take a shot and you got to go out there and see what else the world has to offer, you know? I
totally agree. I mean, if you really do believe in yourself, it's worth everything in the world to try.
So when you went to Japan, you said you wanted to go to Japan, and I was, when I was first breaking in, I know the same with Adam, we had got a chance to do a couple tours over there for a smaller company, but back in that day, we used to trade tapes from Japan, and from All Japan, from New Japan, and it was very much a place where I wanted to go and have a run, and never had that chance to do it. When I left WWE and I went to TNA for a few years, I did have the chance to do the Wrestle Kingdom show at the Tokyo Dome, and that was amazing, and I had a lot of fun and really enjoyed that, and always wished that I could have had, before I started over here on a full-time basis, I had a little bit of a run there. So how was it that you got in with New Japan, or did you work with a smaller company first and then kind of move up?
Yeah, I started with a smaller company. It was an indie company called DDT Pro Wrestling. Uh-huh. And after leaving developmental, I had kind of went and tried my hand at the East Coast Indies, because a lot of the East Coast guys were hot at the time, and I really wanted to kind of mix it up with guys that had some notoriety. And I thought that maybe if I could have some good showings, and if I could stand out amongst the best talent on the East Coast, maybe that would get my name out and increase my chances of getting to Japan in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So after, not quite a year, almost a year, I had an opportunity to go to DDT for their summer tour. In my second match there, I had wrestled their top guy, their ace. And if you are somewhat up to date with New Japan, you might know him. His name is Kota Ibushi.
Okay.
And he's a tremendous talent. Unbelievable. Actually, he also did CWC as well, the Cruiserweight tournament for WWE.
Yep.
Yeah, he's easily the best guy, in my opinion. That's not knocking anyone else. He's just head and tails.
He's real good, yeah.
Yeah, everyone. Just another level. But, so he's the top guy there. And he was actually one of the reasons why I really wanted to go to DDT, because I felt that he sort of had the same outlook and perspective on wrestling as I did, because he did a bunch of goofy stuff and weird stuff, and always wanted to challenge the boundaries and limitations of what wrestling could be. So I thought, hey, if we could mix it up together in some way, we could probably make some magic. And we did. We had a best 2 out of 3 falls match in my second match in Japan, and that match was actually voted as the match of the year on the Indies that year. So that luckily bought me a little bit of, I don't know if it's job security, but it gave me another shot, because I was just supposed to be one and done, just one tour and then see you have a good life. But that was able to, they thought, okay, we're going to bring you back now, and you're going to do the rematch. And then you're going to lose the rematch, and then, then we'll say our goodbyes. But instead, we had thought of the idea to form a tag team, because we had all these ideas of doing some cool tag stuff that really no one had seen. And the tag team went off really successfully. We sort of took off on the Indies. We were getting offers from the major companies as well. We broke out into New Japan as our tag team, the Golden Lovers. And We had won Match of the Year. Yeah, I know, it's a funny name.
It's awesome.
Yeah, but so we had won Match of the Year as well for New Japan, which is just a junior indie tag team doesn't do that. I think it was the first time anyone had done it. So I think at that point the company was like, okay, you know what, you're part of this team. Like you're going to be here all the time. So that's how I sort of started working full time for a Japanese company, and I was with them from 2008 until 2015 when I finally, I don't know what you'd call it, graduated maybe.
So in that time, correct me if I'm mistaken, but you become fluent in Japanese. You live over there. You really
conversational Japanese, yeah.
And so you embrace the lifestyle and decide, this is it. And like I said, performance-wise, confidence-wise, and that's key. Your confidence looked like it was through the roof. You can tell when someone is confident in what they're doing and they're feeling what they're doing. And that, to me, was the biggest difference I saw. This guy went through something. I don't know what it was, and now I know. But it worked. You learn from it. And to Jay's point, as we've talked about, the truly successful people in this industry, they bet on themselves. They have that confidence to go, okay, I'm going to go outside the box here and try something. So you make it to New Japan. I start seeing these matches, and we'll get to your series this year and everything that's happened. But how does it feel to get there and start doing the Bullet Club thing? And with AJ as the leader at that point, how does that process happen? The transition there.
So before I made my debut as the cleaner Omega, they sort of wanted to lay down some guidelines and rules of what exactly that was, and originally, I was supposed to kind of be like the Ringmaster, Steve Austin, the Ringmaster.
Uh-huh.
I was supposed to be cold, calculating. I was supposed to always have a mouthpiece. New Japan fans were kind of their own fans. There were, of course, some crossover, but a lot of the New Japan fans only knew their product. So they thought it was cool for me to just pretend I never knew Japanese anymore, or at least chose not to speak it. So I was no longer like a vocal, or wasn't supposed to be a vocal wrestler. And for me, I really thought it was going to be a chance to shine, especially now that before then, I was sort of, they'd been in discussion to make me the leader of the Bullet Club. And then right at the 11th hour, AJ freed up from his TNA contract. I thought, okay, wait a minute, AJ's free, like we got to do something. Okay, we'll make him the leader of the Bullet Club. So I kind of became like the junior guy. I was like, okay, well, if that's the case, then I'll just be the best darn junior guy I can be. It didn't last very long, and eventually I was able to kind of do my own thing again. But that was sort of another trial and error.
It seems like in a strange way too that I mean, it could be a little bit, maybe like you said, deflating a little bit when you're kind of pegged to be the leader, and then somebody else comes in and kind of gets the spot. But in a weird way, it's another one of those things where it almost puts a little bit of a chip on your shoulder too, right? That you still have to prove something, and also kind of takes a little bit of the pressure away of being kind of the face of it, where you can kind of play with some different things. Like to me, like with the cleaner persona or nickname, to me it just seems like you started to kind of make it your own when you were coming out with the cleaning products and stuff like that.
Right, exactly.
Still kind of having still kind of having that kind of badass feel, but also having a little bit of fun with it, and
right,
that sort of thing, and also helped you build your persona in that respect too, and give you comments and give you another, hey, I can take this in a different direction, and in a weird way helped you out. Is that correct?
Yeah, and in that journey of finding myself all over again, or finding my identity in this new cleaner character, I had the sort of epiphany that I'm actually better when I have some limitations placed on me.
It makes complete sense. It's the chip on the shoulder thing. Some people like to have that chip on the shoulder and work better with that on there. It makes their work angrier. It makes it, which at some point wrestling needs to look angry. So it makes sense. And I think the development of the cleaner and with AJ being brought in, to me it added a layer to your story. For lack of a better comparison, it reminded me of the same cycle that guys have through the IC title, then they work their way up to the heavyweight title. That's what I saw happening. I was like, oh, clearly he's going to end up being the leader of this, and then he'll segue into the IWGP heavyweight title matches and things like that. But because it didn't seem hot-shotted, it felt like a natural growth period to get to that, to where you are now.
Yeah, we had sort of had the ideas planted in the fans' heads where it could take over at any point in time. And then when it came time to do it, it's like, wow, like this is like the greatest gift. And that's why when we turned on him, there was such a big reaction. And people had heard and they understood that he was leaving, to actually show them that, okay, these guys are the heirs to the throne kind of thing. It was sort of an exciting moment maybe for fans to show them that, okay, this is what you have to look forward to now, for better or for worse. Maybe some people, were like, oh, this sucks, I hate these guys or whatever. But, it at least gave them sort of a preview of things to come.
Well, and then the things to come end up being, Wrestle Kingdom 11, you and Okada, and I had heard about it, and then I watched it, and I went, oh, God damn, like, this is really, really good stuff. And I just, the selling, the fact that you guys sold so much and so well, and the story, I watched it with Carino's commentary, starting with the core and working your way up the spine until you got to the neck, which sets up your finish. It was just a really well done story that, the commentary really added layers to it too for me. Talk about that, how you feel going into that, and then how you feel coming out of it. Yeah,
well, after I had become a heavyweight, I was vaulted into the Intercontinental title picture. And people were kind of hesitant at first because I had literally just lost the day before junior heavyweight title. Why are they going to believe suddenly that I'm challenging for the IC belt? I totally understand the reason why they didn't buy it at first. But I just thought, when I heard kind of the crickets upon me announcing that I'm challenging for the IC belt, that, just wait, I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to prove my worth here. And within a month, people were believing, and we had built this really awesome story between myself and the Young Bucks and Tanahashi. And I had this Intercontinental title run. And that was building to our second biggest show of the year, which is at the Palace in Osaka. We have these shows now. Started just that year where we were running the Castle in Osaka, which is a real big venue. And it's just probably my favorite building to work in. It's just a gorgeous place to work in. Great acoustics for the crowd. It always feels like they're electric when they react to something. Just fantastic building. Anyway, I suppose that New Japan does their first ever ladder match for the IC title as something completely different. And it was a match I was slated to lose. And right before the match, Tanahashi hurts himself. So they put Michael Elgin. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but he's incredible. He's great.
Yeah, he's a tank.
Yeah. But he was kind of like Tanahashi's gym buddy, sort of. That was sort of their relationship. He was kind of the natural dude to step in and say, okay, I'll fight his battle for him. And we did the ladder match instead. And, it was the first ever ladder match. I didn't want to overstep my bounds. I mean, a lot of the fans in New Japan didn't even know what a ladder match was. So we just kept it real basic, and we just wanted to give fans kind of a taste of what the ladder match could be so that the bar wasn't set ridiculously high in case we ever did it again.
Yeah, that's smart.
Just keep things very easy to understand, but also kind of make it brutal as well, because, I mean, it sort of has to be.
Sure.
So yeah, I kind of put it on the line, and the response was really positive by fans, by media, by the press, and by the boys or whatever, by the office. So that's when plans had changed instantaneously, and they said, "Okay, we want you to win the G1 now." Of course, they never told me that until the day before the finals, but the plans did change at that point in time. And that was how I got the right to face Okada at the Tokyo Dome. And
now, please correct me if I'm wrong, but you're the first North American to win the G1, correct?
Yeah. It was the first one to ever, the first foreigner to ever win the G1. So it was a crazy honor to receive, and to have that sort of trust from your company.
Yeah.
And then to have them trust you to headline the Dome, which doesn't really happen with foreigners either. That's really rare too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of put the pressure on, and I didn't want to show them that trust that they instilled in me was in vain. I didn't want to let anyone down. So you have to sort of defend right to main event the Tokyo Dome on your path and on your journey to the Tokyo Dome. So I'd honestly thought I was losing the right to main event. I really did. And then when I didn't, when October, November came around and I hadn't lost the right to do it, I was like, wait a minute, this is probably happening. So I thought, okay, well, I guess I better do something pretty good if I'm actually going to be in the main now. And that's when I started to brainstorm and come up with, I guess, the idea that was what the Tokyo Dome main event was. And then that kind of became the new rivalry between myself and Okada.
Well, I liked the way that you took it, personal, and the whole way that you explained what it was, and even using social media and stuff like that to even go beyond Japan, right? To kind of give it a whole worldwide field, and saying that you were going to take this company, put on your back, and make it global, like that. Those are big words, right? And sometimes when there's a lot of hype around something, sometimes there's so much hype it doesn't live up to what it should be or what it could be. And sometimes you put a lot of pressure on yourself. And we talked a lot about being great and good, and that separates people from that category when they can go out there and do their best when they're under an immense amount of pressure. And me personally, I always liked to go out and perform under pressure because I think it made me better. And it seems like you're that way. Like, you put the pressure on yourself, and you said these things, and now you have to go out there and back it up.
Yeah, no, it definitely is that. I mean, yeah, it's. If I sit in the comfort of my own home and say, "Hey, I'm going to put a crap ton of pressure on myself and see how I do," I would probably say, "Nah, I'm just going to sit at home and play video games." But when it's time to go, I find myself responding to the call, and I guess I'm that kind of person as well, because I have been in so many scenarios where it's either you hit a home run or you go home, and possibly go home for good.
And it's hard work. It's right place, right time. It's so many things. But another important aspect of this is the right dance partner. So you got Okada, who's this 6'3", 240-pound, good-looking Japanese dude who can work. And now you throw that chemistry together, because you never know if that chemistry is going to be there, right? That's very true. Yeah, we had only it was our first singles, and I had sort of put all my faith into this guy that I sort of had a little bit of. I kind of mixed it up with him when I was a junior in a few six-mans, and the finishing stretch came down to me and him, where he would pin me with a Rainmaker, and that 1 minute or 2 minutes in the ring that we had before going home, it felt really good.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, now that I'm heavyweight, I'm kind of believable as a heavyweight guy that's fighting for Okada. I feel like this could be really good, and I've seen what Okada can do. I know that he knows what I can do, and we've sort of been in the ring together. Like, this might be something real special, and we should just trust in each other. So we went into this match with just complete 100% trust, which is why I did a couple of the things that I did, and without even worrying about injury. Like, I'll probably it's hard for me to ever suggest moonsaulting over a guardrail or doing like the backdrop over the top rope through a table, but like
the backdrop is ridiculous.
Okada. I trusted that if I just give him a good jump and I pop myself up there, I trust that he's going to place me where I need to go, because he's the man. If I do a moonsault, even if I'm undershooting or overshooting, I trust he's going to be there. It's just sometimes you really have to. It's not only trusting in your own ability, but if you trust the people around you. And again, the Young Bucks were there too, and I trust my life in their hands as well. So I was like, okay, if the Bucks are anywhere near the guardrail, I know I'm not hitting it. I'm not getting impaled. I'm not going to break my leg or my face. Like, I trust my life in these people's hands. So it was easy for me just to commit 1,000% to everything and just put my best foot forward.
Well, and there were so many moments in that match. You know, the backdrop, when he lined up and where you guys did it from, I was like, oh no, he is not going to make this. He is clearly not going to make this. And you have this weird ability to almost double pump while you're in the air. And it almost kind of, you were going and then you double pumped somehow and just shot out. And it was, and one other thing I want to say before we get too far into, talking about these, one thing I really appreciate, and it's a small thing, but I look at small things. When you backslide, you drive with your feet, and barely anybody does that.
I don't want
barely anyone does it.
Oh my God. When guys go for quick finishes and it doesn't look like they want it, I hate that. So,
it's not going to work. They're not going to buy it. If you don't hook your feet on a small package, if you don't drive your feet, if you don't kick your feet when you're trying to kick out, all of those things. It just
I don't want to brag, but I do that.
Kudos.
Well, of course you do. Of course.
It's a Canadian thing.
I think everyone here does it. I know it.
Okay, so I digress there. I got us off, but I wanted to make point of that. So you have this insane match. You come through, obviously, because everybody's talking about it. And I'll also say, too, that it was a buddy of mine over in Ireland who said, you got to see this match. Wow. So, okay, because I'm out of the loop. I was out of the loop for a long time. I've said it on the show previously that after I retired, I was burnt out. I just needed a break. I needed to not think about it, not see it, not just be away. And so my buddy over there, I'm on a set with him. We're filming Vikings, and he goes, dude, you got to see all this stuff. You got to see what this stuff that's happening. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll get caught up. And I did. And, I've said AJ, you, Nakamura, all of these matches started pulling me in. And then, here I am. I'm like, okay, I got to get caught up now. Now I got to go back and watch all this stuff back and see what I've been missing. And then that in turn pulls me into watching AJ's stuff on WWE. And, now here I am having a podcast with Jay, talking to you.
So, if it wasn't for you, he's saying we wouldn't have this podcast.
Yeah, there you have it. So we got to get a Winnipeg reference in.
Of course. Wow. Like, the only person I've been hearing that from lately is Don. So it's strange to hear from him.
Hold on now. I take the bump.
Yeah. 30 years in a big backdrop. That move would best be done with the natural. Good stuff. So now you've had this, you've established yourself. Now you're a main event dude in Japan. You're now in the heavyweight division, and you say that you have no idea, what they're going to do going forward. But you have to have some kind of inclination that you're going to have a series with this guy now, right?
Yeah, I sort of felt after the first match that there is probably going to be a second one, but I would think to be much later in the year or even next year. And when I had returned the next tour, they sort of said, like, hey, the company, our parent company, is putting a lot of pressure on us to sell out the Palace. So we're going to run with you and Okada in May. And I like, we just did it. Like, I'm not even in contention anymore. And the expectation is going to be through the roof. Like, how are we going to do it? Like, because we had done the way it works in our company is that after Tokyo Dome, the sort of next big thing is that we have this. I think it's a 3-day tour. A 3-day tour.
Do you have to wear a Gilligan hat?
Where the winner of that gets to challenge whatever belt that he wants. And more times than not, they're going to challenge for the heavyweight belt. Sometimes they throw a wrench in plans, or they'll throw a curveball and say, no, I want this other belt instead. But 9 times out of 10, they're always going to challenge for the heavyweight belt. So I was in this tournament, kind of like, oh, Kenny Omega's in the tournament. He's the favorite to win. Like, they're going to do the rematch. And then I lose in the first round. which I thought was a pretty cool story. You know, I've got all this momentum, and then now I lost. Oh my God, I've hit rock bottom. But after the person that wins the tournament challenges the champion, they wanted me to somehow be the next challenger. And I was like, but I lost in the first round. I didn't even make the second round. I didn't make the semis. I didn't make the finals. Like, what the heck? Like, how are we going to make this make sense? And they said, don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. So, somehow I ended up in the main event at the Palace, and we had to do the match with Okada again. And, we went from that to then we did part 3 at the G1 as well.
Yeah.
So, I hope there isn't part 4 this year. I really kind of want to put it to bed for a little bit. But the company likes going back to that match, it seems.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for good reason.
And that's not to say I dislike working with them. I love working with them. It's just I want the story to make sense, and I don't want to run out of ideas.
Well, it's kind of an interesting story right now because, you know, he beat you in the first one, then the second one was a time limit draw, and then the third one you won. So now it's kind of like even, right? So
right, yeah. So you would think the fourth one kind of has to be a be-all, end-all kind of scenario.
Right. You would think, and I'm gonna by the third one. Here's what you guys were able to do: is that each match felt different, even though you're using your arsenal and everything like that. What I really loved about part 3 was how quickly you guys came out of the gates, because it's a 30-minute time limit, and it told a completely different story because of that. So it was an entirely different match. The urgency in it and going for finishes right out of the get-go. You didn't start slow like you did with the other two, and that really, really made it feel different. And now this is me just prognosticating. I'm going to say Wrestle Kingdom 12. It's happening again, dude. That would be my guess.
Honestly, what I would have done, and if it were me, like I said, I'm sure New Japan knows what they're doing. They're obviously, you know, doing very well. But if it was me, I would have you win everything. I would have had you win the title. I would have had you win the G1 again. I would have had you win everything until that Dome show and do that match again. That's what I would have done.
Well, it's
you don't have to respond to it if you don't want, but
I agree.
Yes, that's what they should know.
Is it cool if I pass your resume onto to the office, or I like the way this man thinks.
We'll start booking it.
So, but I mean, you've kind of transcended what's the norm over there, right? Like, I mean, you're doing things that no other Gaijin has done, and I think that's a testament. And I think it's also the commitment that you made to the company, where you probably had options to go other places. If I'm not mistaken, your contract was up not too long ago, and you had the chance to move on, and you felt, to me it seemed, and it was very kind of honorable, and I appreciate what you did, that you had unfinished business there, and you saw something happening that you wanted to be a part of, that you had kind of started, and you wanted to see it through and take the company to places it's never been. And you saw that when you went on to the G1 tournament here in the US as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, it was. It's always tough because you never know how things are going to go at any point in time in professional wrestling. Things can change overnight. They can change by the minute.
Yeah.
And even with my career, they literally did change overnight. If it wasn't for the ladder match, I probably wouldn't have done anything that I have done up to this point. So.
It's similar to us. If we didn't have that first ladder match,
right,
it's
exactly, crazy. Yeah. Look at that. That's cool.
Yeah, see, there's similarities, even more than Canadian.
I know. quite a few.
The funny thing about that is we had this idea with the Hardys that we wanted to do this best of 7 series and have it end with the first ever tag ladder match, and it was an idea that we were like, this is so crazy, we don't think anybody's going to go for it, but we need to pitch it. And we pitched the idea as well. It was kind of one of those things where, like, hey, we need to do this match, and these are the reasons why. And for some reason, they let us do it, and we were all on our way from there. You know, it seems like, you know, that's kind of how it went with you as well.
Another thing too is I also never wanted to feel like I left unfinished business in Japan as well. So after the Tokyo Dome, probably. I'm not saying that I would have walked, but maybe winning the belt would have been the worst thing that could have happened to me at the Tokyo Dome, because I might have sort of felt, you know, that my career in Japan had been complete had I won the belt. I don't know. Maybe I would have looked at things differently. I had a different perspective. I doubt it, but I do think that it made me hungrier to do more big things in the company in 2017. So that really made it, kind of made the decision easy for me to re-sign. So yeah, and then it allowed me to, I sort of had, everyone knows the feud that I've had with Okada, but I've kind of had this rivalry with another dude named Ishii as well. I had 3 matches with him this year that I'm pretty proud of also. We kind of revisited the thing with Elgin, which, I love working with Elgin, which I'm really proud of. So I have 0 regrets. A little beat up, a little tired mentally and physically, but I'm feeling somewhat fulfilled.
Well, that was one of the things I was going to ask you, because I watched the U.S. heavyweight title tournament, and it's in Long Beach, so now New Japan is doing a show on American soil. You're in the tournament. You face Elgin, and then Jay Lethal, and then Ishii in the finals, correct?
Yep. Yes, that's right.
And I'd never seen Ishii before. And just in watching it, him headbutting you in the chin and just all these really physical things, and the knee strikes. The knee strike, I got to say, dude, such a great move. And, just the impact that it sounds. But I can tell you're working safe, too, which I appreciate. It just really, really good stuff. So now you're the first North American to win the G1 Climax. You are now the first ever U.S. heavyweight champion. My prediction is that you're going to be the first North American to win the IWGP Heavyweight Championship at Wrestle Kingdom.
Well,
that's my call. As soon as I saw the match, I was like, he's going to win it next year. He's going to win it next year. That was my take.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I had lost the G1 in the end, so I did lose the right to the Wrestle Kingdom main event. But that the person that won the tournament may lose the right on the journey. I doubt
think it's going to happen
between you and I. But like I said, I'm not even. I'm trying to be cryptic. I honestly just don't even know. That's the thing. I don't know what they ever plan. It's even tough for me to know my immediate future schedule. Like, hey, when am I booked next? Like, we'll get back to you. It's just sort of how things are.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of the G1, when you wrestled Naito, that was a great match too. I actually just rewatched it again last night, and there were some little things, and I'm a stickler for little things, and I've talked about it a lot on this. To me, the little things add up, and when he was working on your neck, and one of the coolest things when you did your when you have the fireman's carry and you did the front roll and jump up to do the moonsault. When you did the fireman's carry and you did the roll, you got up and sold your neck, and I was like, man, that's genius. That was really great. And then had a hard time getting up to the second rope, and like little things like that I like. You just kept, even just throughout the match, you'd make a gesture to your neck, or you'd sell, or you do a little head kink or something, and I appreciate that, because to me that helps telling the story as you're leading into these false finishes and then ultimately to the finish.
Yeah, that's sort of a thing that only experience, I think, can help develop, because when you first start out, you almost don't even know what an injury is or what it feels like. You're invincible, right?
Yep.
But then over the years, you know what a knee injury feels like. You know what happens when you stub your toe, when you bang your elbow, when you hurt your neck, and it's almost immobilizing. So it actually, when you look at things that way, okay, if my neck actually hurts, there's a wrestler way of selling things where 95% of the guys, will sell it a certain way.
Right.
But if it actually does hurt, how would you act? And would it just be, okay, it hurt for 2 seconds because I took a DDT, or is it actually going to bother you for most of the match?
Right.
That's the way I prefer to look at things. And it's not even because I'm just a stickler for adding to the matches. I just don't want to insult anyone's intelligence that has been injured. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, yeah. So, like, if I'm getting my leg work, it's probably going to affect everything.
Right.
From that point on. Maybe it's not going to stop me from being able to do everything under the sun. Like some people, they think that if you get drop kicked to the leg, you should be unable to run the ropes from there on in. But, it doesn't really work that way in real life. If you bang your knee, it might hurt for a little bit, but you'll be able to shake it off.
Yeah,
but if you have someone working on it for 10 minutes straight, if you get your leg worked on for 10 minutes straight, then it's going to be difficult to run. Then it's going to be difficult to climb the ropes, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I try to, think of things in levels, pain levels and such, and injury levels, like how bad is this injury supposed to be? How much should I be selling? And I think that also helps with the emotional attachment to the fans when you're telling the story as well.
Right.
Rather than
well, I'm all for evolve. I get it. Everything's going to evolve, not just in wrestling, but in everything. We see it happening in other sports and whatever. So things are going to get bigger. They're going to get faster. They're going to get better. It's just the natural progression. But I do appreciate that I think that selling is becoming a lost art and people overlook it. And I think it's probably the most important thing to any match, in my opinion. So when you're doing it at that level, and you're not forgetting that. To me, like I said, it adds drama to the match, and adding drama, that's what draws people in and connects them. It's not necessarily the moves, it's the emotion, it's the drama, it's the you have to make the audience feel your pain, and to be able to do that, it's something that I think is key to raising your game to a different level.
And it's not even necessarily body parts in terms of selling. There was one point during one of the Okada matches, I remember it looked like you were in tears because you didn't think you could beat him. And just looked utterly defeated. And I was like, okay, I buy what that guy's going through right now. Like, he just realized he can't beat him. He doesn't know what he's going to do to be able to beat him. And that story was just told in the putting your hands together on your knees and looking like you were in tears, like, what the fuck do I got to do? And that's selling too.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you were to go by either a Dave Meltzer rating system or just your own star rating system that you come up with in your head, like with today's athlete in professional wrestling, there are so many guys that have the athletics that can put together an easy 4.5-star match just based on the moves itself.
Right.
And telling kind of like a fake story. But I think it's the little things, how you sell your body, how you convey your emotion in the match, whether it's the emotion that you're really feeling or if you're just a great actor and you can make the people believe you're feeling emotions. I think that's what pushes it to making it a 5-star, a 6-star match. And I think that's what people aren't doing in the ring.
Right, and also it's also the fine line between something that's a main event match that can main event the Tokyo Dome and something that's a mid card to lower card match.
Yep, I totally agree, and it's just
because at this point anybody move wise can pretty much do all of the athletic things. Not everybody, but a lot of people can do the athletic things that can be seen. But it's those little fine, it's the little exclamation points and the little punctuation marks in between, the pauses, the driving of the feet on a backslide, things like that. Those are the little tiny things that make the difference between being able to main event and just being another athletic guy or girl.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, I completely agree. And I think, I mean, for me personally, I think too much emphasis is put on just, okay, how cool are my moves, and how do I string them together? How do I get this move in this match within this time limit, and that's it. And how should a wrestling match look? I think, without overstepping
I think that's changed too. I think that's changed.
Yeah.
It really, really. I mean, you think back to 1984 and what a wrestling match looked like. Not all, don't get me wrong. Big boot leg drop. Mm-hmm. If it was a Ric Flair match, it was different. But still, it has changed dramatically in what a wrestler looks like. Because let's face it, in the 80s, none of us would have made it. Mm-mm. We all would have been considered too small.
Yep.
And that changed just into the 90s. And then now where it's come, now you can main event Wrestle Kingdom. Daniel Bryan can main event WrestleMania. That's a huge shift.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So I told you we were going to blow smoke up your ass, and we've definitely done that.
Are you tired of yourself yet? You know what? I'm gonna say something.
I mean, like I said, it's been quiet here in Winnipeg for the past week, so it's nice to.
I'm gonna rock the boat a little bit here. I'm gonna get a little stiff.
Oh, sure.
I'm gonna point out some things that I don't quite like. I don't like the way you tape your wrist tape.
Oh, what should I do? What can I do to change that?
I just had to say something. I had to say something negative. I had to say something negative. My Christian star rating system for wrist taping. You're 1.5 stars. You got up that game.
Oh damn! Back to the drawing board. Gotta study the tapes. Yeah.
Study the tapes.
Well, I know you're on up in Winnipeg, so we don't want to keep you too long. But just really appreciate you doing
so much going on
it was
here.
nice to be able to. It is Winnipeg. It's a hot town.
Yeah.
So what's your
I got a dinner date at the Pony Corral. So.
Yeah, man.
The Pony Corral. Yeah. Oh my god, I forgot about that.
What are your plans for the rest of the year leading up to the next Wrestle Kingdom?
Well, I mean, yikes. I had sort of looked at the G1 as sort of my. It was kind of a non-finish line, because that sort of marked the end of all of my very emotionally, mentally, physically grueling tours and performances. So now, I'm going to have some U.S. title defenses, but I'm actually really looking forward to those. I think they're going to be fun.
Yeah.
And again, I have no clue what I'm going to be doing for Tokyo Dome, but I hope that I at least have a month or two to kind of brainstorm some ideas and have an opportunity to make whatever it is that I'm putting in special. I definitely want to contribute to making that show successful next year as well. But for now, I just want to close off the year having some fun. And that's pretty much it.
What are your plans for your video game feud with Xavier Woods?
Xavier Woods?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, I really got to hand it to the guy. We both barely have any time to do anything. And he's always just been so cool where if I'm able to make it to an event, he'll find a way to be at that same event as me.
Wow.
This year, I was in Florida for a video game competition, and I think he took a red eye from somewhere across the country to be there that day without any sleep. Real cool guy. I'm proud to call him my friend or friend of me or whatever. Yeah.
He's doing great too, so it's good to see. We were just actually talking about the match
sure.
he had. They just had an awesome match at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
so.
I had always. I mean, he's mainly a personality, right? And the SummerSlam match was one thing, but there was another match before then when I was watching, and it was against the Usos as well, where I was like,
it was the pay-per-view before.
I was like, I don't mean any offenses, but I had no idea you could bring it like that. It's like, that was awesome to see you, kick some ass for a change,
Yeah. That was great.
Yeah,
I said on the show, I was like, it reminded people he can go.
Right. And the thing is, too, they're actual real tag matches. It's not like just four dudes doing stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, you can tell there's a focus on the tag element, which is what I loved.
Yeah. Yeah, and,
Anyway,
Yeah, so, but enough about him. We're not talking about him.
Yeah, forget about that guy.
Yeah, screw Xavier.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still hanging tight like a pit bull onto my prediction that you will be the first North American to win the IWGP Heavyweight Championship at Wrestle Kingdom 12 while you're the U.S. Heavyweight Champion.
Wow,
that's happening.
Double champion.
Maybe
cool.
we should go corner him for that show, Adam.
Yeah, screw the Bucks.
Yeah, for us and the Bucks.
We said if we work
everyone.
Well, as we talked about, the young bucks and the old fucks, we can all both corner you, both teams.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of that too, I mean, we should touch on this too. It's pretty awesome that your guys' shirts are in Hot Topic, right? Like, how awesome is that?
Yeah, I mean, and that's another thing. It's so cool that while all of us sort of busting our butts in the ring and so much on what we put forth, on the ring and in our promos and all that, all this stuff behind the scenes where Hot Topic and these other companies are trying to jump on the bandwagon and kind of show that they have faith in us as well. So cool to see our shirts there in Hot Topic and amongst, some of the top rated TV shows and cartoons and even WWE shirts. Like it's so cool to show, like, we believe in you guys and you belong amongst all of these. And from what I understand, there's going to be even more stuff in the future, and the sales are through the roof, and they can't keep up with the demand, and it's awesome. So 2018 is looking like it's going to be even bigger and better for us. So I'm excited for that as well.
I mean, it goes, like I said, going back to, it shows you what that, you guys are kind of going beyond what the traditional way of being a New Japan wrestler is. You're kind of more global now. That a lot that has to do with social media and things like that too, but also bringing the show over to the US and just having a connection where making it must see, where even if people are having to go on YouTube, they're having to watch it, they're having to see it. Now they have to have this merchandise, and I think that says a lot about you guys and the stuff you're doing, so congrats on that. I mean,
it's just awesome, real exciting for all of us. And I mean, it used to be so tough to even know what was going on in Japan, right? Like,
exactly.
Tape traders, like I was one of those guys as well. Like, you'd be hard pressed to find anyone that knew anything about Japanese culture, Japanese matches, Japanese promotions. Now, some of our Japanese guys have kind of, sort of, become somewhat household names, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, and here's another scenario that I'll throw out there. You look at Nakamura and what he's been able to do and bring his flair to where he's now competing for the championship at SummerSlam, second biggest pay-per-view of the year. That doesn't happen before because, social media and everything has blown all of this open to where you guys competing in Japan are now selling T-shirts like crazy in the States. It's a different template. It's a different playing field now, and it's cool to see. It's really, really great time to be a wrestling fan.
Yeah, I mean, social media and streaming have, so it's not difficult to watch any of our stuff and keep up to date with what we're doing. So I think it definitely helps. We're in more of a digital world these days.
Yeah, and then even on Access TV, they have the shows on.
Oh yeah, of course,
Friday night. So that makes a big difference as well, because I find myself watching those quite a bit as well. Even though sometimes they're a little bit behind, but I mean they were live for the G1 in Long Beach. So that was pretty cool too.
And I think Wrestle Kingdom was pretty much up to date as well, or it was the week after or something.
Yeah. It was the week after. I remember. But yeah, it's just really cool, and you're at the front of this thing, man. You're helping blaze a new trail, and it's really, really fun to watch. You're doing a great job, and become a big fan over this last year and watching. Really appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you very much, guys. It's always more than appreciated. Jeez, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, keep doing your thing.
All right,
thanks for joining us.
And if you need the old fucks in your corner, just let us know.
I might hold you guys up to that. You'd be so awesome.
Let's do it. Just give us a little time to stretch.
Yeah, we got to do our wall push-ups.
Yeah. I do the old wrestler warm-up where I really didn't do anything. I just kind of moved my elbows back and forth and kind of halfway bent down and kind of almost touched my toes. I was never a warm-up guy. I never warmed up. I just couldn't do it. So I just went out there cool and did my thing.
So. Yeah, it's I'm kind of one of those guys too. A lot of guys still, especially in Japan, they still like to warm up by doing some practice bumps in the ring.
Yeah,
couldn't pay me to ring unless it was the actual match.
Right. Yeah.
Like, if you want me to practice the spots before the shows too, like, bring out the crash mat. You know what I mean? There's no way I'm doing it.
Yeah. Oh man, that's awesome. Well, we'll keep in touch on this. Actually, what we can do is I can be your special wrist taper.
Yeah. I mean, Lord knows I can't do it myself, so yeah.
Mid-match, just got to retape.
I got to retape it. Yeah. It's not fresh. So,
well, have a good time in Winnipeg. Have fun with your folks, and keep kicking ass, man. We'll be keeping tabs.
Thanks,
have a safe trip back to Japan.
All right, have a good one, guys.
Thanks, man.
All right, see you, Kenny.
Bye.
So that was a nice chat. It was really nice to, even though meeting over the podcast forum, great dude. We had some technical difficulties with his connection because he's way up there in Winterpeg. But hopefully you guys caught the gist of some of the stuff we were talking about. And if not, we'll do it again sometime. We'll have him back on. After my prediction of, sorry to cut you off, but after my prediction of him winning the IWGP Championship at Wrestle Kingdom 12 happens.
Yeah, well, when we'll be in his corner, we'll see it happen in person. So, great guy. Like, I never met him before. And you don't know what to expect when you've never, just a good dude. He seemed really cool, really genuine, really humble, which is very cool, especially with all the stuff that he's accomplished in the last year. And he's really put that company, on the map. And not that they weren't before, but I mean, he has taken it to places that it's never been, and I don't think that should be discounted in any way. Of the stuff that him and the Young Bucks and together as that group, the Elite and the Bullet Club, they've really done some big stuff, and that's commendable and it's awesome. And it's sometimes when you envision things, and if you believe in what you're envisioning, sometimes you think of things, and you're like, oh, that would be cool if this happened, it'd be cool if that happened, but it's just kind of daydreaming, right? But these guys went out and made it happen. And that's pretty awesome. And
in doing so, he's recreated and rebranded himself to the point where he can write it. He's written his own ticket. Yeah. Really wherever he wants to go from here, he can go. Yeah. And that's a great place to be. And I want to, let's draw a comparison here. Him, if my prediction ever does come true, even if it's not Wrestle Kingdom 12, even if it's 13, whatever it is, that is equivalent to Nakamura winning the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. Yeah. That's the equivalent. Yep. That's the comparison. That's where this guy is at over there. And that can't get lost. Like that is happening over there while Nakamura is doing this over here. And it just shows, goes to show you how everything's changed, and in a good way. Yeah. Yeah. It's just strong for the business as a whole, and gives fans many options to watch a lot of different product. And that's a good thing. And I still want to chop you directly in the main vein that runs right down the side of your neck. Really? I want to give you a knee. I can just picture it pulsing there, and I just heard gaga. I want to give you the Kenny Omega running knee to your kneecap. Then, as high as I'd get. And then when you drop to one knee, I would throw 4 roundhouse kicks over your head, just so you know. So you can't throw those over my head, even when I'm on my knees. I could have taken your head off, and then what I would do is I would take the branches off of a palm tree. I would tickle you till you were in a laughing hysteric, and then I would back my riding lawnmower over your foot. Just one hysteric, not hysterics? Hysterics. Hysterics. You'd be laughing so hard from the tickling, and then I would pull out my riding lawnmower, John Deere, and I would back over your foot. John Deere. I would be laughing from the roundhouses, let's face it, because I've seen your roundhouses. And I know what they look like. You haven't seen it lately. Oh. I've been working on it. My technique. Speaking of roundhouses, what do you think of the McGregor Mayweather fight this weekend? You want my prediction? Yeah. So here's my take on this. Mayweather has trained his entire life to be a boxer. He has fought boxers who have not been able to touch him. He's 49-0 for that reason. Right. I don't think McGregor, who is a UFC fighter who is trained in multiple disciplines, and don't get me wrong, if this were in the octagon, it'd be over in 10 seconds. Mm-hmm. McGregor has nothing to lose, and he has a puncher's chance. He has a chance to connect, and if he does, then there's, to me, the slimmest of possibilities that he can win. What I think is going to happen is that he's going to keep missing. And when you miss, more energy is expended. Yeah. And I think he's going to blow up, and his arms are going to get heavy, and Mayweather is just going to defend, pitter-patter, defend, and I think it's going to be a long, boring fight. I think that, and like I said, I don't really know what's going to happen. I kind of feel the same way. I mean, but the thing is that people are discounting McGregor like he's not even. He's a fighter. He's a professional fighter at the highest level. Without a doubt. Just because he's not a boxer, he's still a fighter. But he's not a professional boxer. Right. I know. And there is a difference. That he's got like they're basically saying that it's like a basketball player coming in
and having a professional
Yeah.
boxing match with the greatest boxer ever lived. It's not that. This guy's a pro fighter. He's got a shot. And so I think it's going to be
he knows how to
interesting. I think
punch.
it's
Don't
cool.
get me wrong.
Yeah.
And I hope it's really good. I just have a feeling it could be very anticlimactic.
Let's be honest,
Anticlimactic at the end.
This is probably the most interesting thing that's happened in boxing in a long, long time. So they should be happy.
And but I don't even think it's sold out yet. I think there's still like 7,000 seats left in a 20,000 seat venue. That's weird.
I didn't
Yeah.
know that. That is weird. Wow.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Oh, anyways,
who knows?
Oh, anyways.
But I'm not usually wrong, brother. And it's time to take it home, brother. It's time for me to edge up on you, brother. and then I'll turn into the Canadian dream. Maybe I'll be the Canadian nightmare. To a little take on a thumb, the American nightmare, Cody Rhodes, who's also a tie-in to Kenny Omega, who's the cleaner, because they're both in the Bullet Club, the elite, if you will.
Yes. You know what? I'm just going to throw this out there because we haven't done it in a while. This is our voicemail, and we should probably get to some voicemails here in the not too distant future. So if you want to leave us a voicemail, whatever you want to say it, good or bad. 929-367-8204. You can catch us on the Twitter machine at E&C Pod, and on our email account thing, EC Pod of Awesomeness at gmail.com, at EdgeRatedR, at Christian4Peeps.
My gosh. Yeah. Just spitting out those deets.
Yeah.
All right, Bird. Well,
I'm Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, Apple Podcasts.
Oh,
get your podcasts.
Yeah, good guy.
Professional.
Yeah. I'm not. So I'll let you do it. All right.
I'm done.
Yeah, I'm so sick of you right now. I just want to pour water over you, and actually I want to throw you in a hot tub and then throw something electric in there. Here we go.